feel about what you saw last night from Jakob?
Well, it was funny because we got to see him like almost twice, just playing San Antonio. And I wasn't here the first time around when, actually he was on his way out. I was on my way in 5 years ago. But I heard such great things about him. I just love his size and the way he plays the game so unselfishly. And he's a team first guy, and you could tell. So just having him here and just hearing all the stories when he was here before, I could see why people like him. Just a constant pro. We definitely going to need his size, his rim protection. He sets great screens. He rolls to the basket. He keeps the ball alive, gives us second chance points. So I think he's going to be a great addition to our team.
Having signed also not just Jakob but Joe as well, how does this almost change the dynamics of floor spacing or
Yeah.
just what you're going to see on the court?
Well, we need all hands on deck. We need, Joe is his shooting. I think he's more athletic than what people give him credit for, and gives us a little bit more spacing out there when he's on the court. I think Coach Nurse should do what Coach Nurse does and find a way to incorporate all those guys. And we only got 20-some games left, and I'm sure he's going to get his opportunities. And I thought in the Milwaukee game when he got in, he did a great job of just seizing those opportunities. That's all you can do. You got to prepare and be ready when your name is called, and that's what's called being a pro in this league. And I thought he's done a great job of that so far.
Coach, looking back on the film from last night, what did you maybe see as the main issues in that fourth quarter with all the dribble penetration that the Jazz were able to do?
Well, I just think you got to keep just executing on both sides of the ball. They put a lot of pressure on the rim with Sexton turning the corner, and I thought we probably gave him a little bit too many angles instead of cutting them off and staying between. And that was probably more on me, just kind of making those changes during the game. It's happened so fast. Really didn't get a chance in the timeouts to make those aggressions like we wanted to. But yeah, Sexton was turning the corner and was getting downhill, and we kind of got to go more from aggressive to more maybe just controlling, containing his drives. But tomorrow we have another opportunity with Ivy, another fast and explosive guard that attacks downhill. So we just got to, make our adjustments. That's what this league is about. You make your adjustments, corrections on film and on the court, and then you get back out there the next day. It's the beauty of this league. You get another chance tomorrow.
You mentioned maybe not having to be as aggressive going forward. Is that a possibility that Jakob also helps open up because of the way he's able to protect the
Well, I think every game is different. Every game. We always talk about KYP, which means know your personnel. So some guards when they come off, they're very good three-point shooting team. So the bigs got to be up. Some guards are very explosive and they put a lot of pressure at the rim, and you just got to adjust accordingly. It's tough to say like this is the way we're going to play. For the next 20 games. Like every game is different. It's almost like a game within the game. We just got to make our adjustments, and we were able to get on the court today and kind of show some of the areas where we can improve and get better, and that's what it's about. You make your corrections and you move on.
And just looking back on the last 5 minutes of the game, obviously Pascal had a great night, but in those last 5 minutes, the only shot he took was that one with 30 seconds left, that three that could have tied it. Does that come down to what the Jazz were doing, just maybe the way the ball was moving? What did you see?
I always say you win as a team, you lose as a team, and it's on everyone. It's a collective thing. It's not just one person. We all have to help each other out there. But I've been around in the NBA for 25 years. I do know, like, the fourth quarter is the toughest quarter, and teams really ramp up their effort, energy, and you have to be able to match that. And you got to find a way to get to the free throw line. And looking at the film, like we had some really good open shots, and we got to knock those down. Corner threes, we had, Gary had a couple of open ones, and Teams are good in this league, and you got, once you get them down, you got to keep them down, and you got to put them away. And if you give them life, that's what'll happen. And we were not able to score, and then we were not able to get stops on the defensive end. And you could tell like their confidence kind of shifted. I'm talking about Utah. They started to get a lot more confident. And then when you're down, you play with a great sense of urgency. And once they started to get stops and get a few buckets, you could see that the momentum started to shift. And but again, this league is tough, and we just gotta learn from this and get better. And the guys were great. Attitudes we talked about, it was kind of funny, but I read a lot, and I thought one of the cool things that I read was by which the Army, the military uses. One of the sayings they use is "embrace the suck." But I forgot that I'm in a room with 20-something-year-olds who probably thought that was a little bit funny, but I had to explain to them, like, no, this is not life and death, right? We're not like the military putting our lives on the line. But yes, our lives are impacted, right? What we do on and off the court. But you got to embrace, the tough stuff, the practices, the tough losses, the travel. Instead of complaining and murmuring, we got to embrace the suck. It sucks, yeah, but nothing great is achieved with great sacrifice. And this league is too good. You're not going to put little into it and expect a lot out in this league. Every win is tough to come by. So we got to embrace the hard work, and they've been awesome all year. And I think we had a pivotal time where, like, okay, all that other stuff is kind of behind us. Now we got to focus on this last 20 games, come together. It's about pulling together. It's not on one person. We got to do it together. And when you see when your teammate kind of veer off track and go to the left or right, you got to pull them back in. And that's what makes our team special. The tight teams, you don't have to be tight off the court, but on the court, you got to be collected. You got to be together. So that was kind of the message today.
How much can Yak pick up in one practice back with this team? What was today like?
Oh, he's a pro. It's good for him that he has some familiar faces. The first day you saw him talking to OG, you saw him talking to Pascal, Freddie. Those guys kind of grew up together in this league. So he's not starting from scratch. And then he's very intelligent, very smart player. I mean, just putting him through a couple drills, he was able to pick it up. Yeah, I got it. Just running him through our offense. And, he's come from San Antonio. He's been coached before. And he started with the Raptors, so he has a good foundation.
Do you hand him a book and say, go home and study this, or how does that work when he shows up?
Probably, with copyright infringements going on. No, we don't. Everything is kind of digital now. Like, we got a lot, film. We'll sit down and show him some clips, some plays, and like our frequent plays. But for the most part, man, this guy's, he's super smart. He's a great guy, and he'll pick it up. Last night we threw him out there, and you couldn't tell that he wasn't, he didn't miss a beat. So it's just fun to have guys like that on your team.
How do you think he'll be able to help the spacing on the court offensively?
Well, I think, one, he's a great screener, right? Anytime you can get two on the ball, you've done your job, especially as a big. And then when you roll and put pressure on the rim with your rolls, the defense has to collapse. So, quick decisions, skip passes, hitting the roller, kick out, or hitting the roller, finishing, is going to help our spacing tremendously. I even thought it helped Pascal. Like a couple times, Yop was setting screens, Pascal was coming in, and same with Gary Trent. They had that mid-range jumper, or they were hitting him on the rolls. So, he brings a little different element. I think Precious has really gotten a lot better with screening and rolling, and he had a couple of great finishing. But with Yak's size, how big he is, he forces multiple bodies on him, and that means somebody else is open. So that's the kind of dynamics he brings to our team.
Got a Super Bowl pick?
Oh, man, yes. So I was raised in Wichita, Kansas, born and raised. Yes, but I've never got to actually go to Arrowhead Stadium, but when I was coaching with Chicago, the Bears were playing the Chiefs, so I got to go to that game. And I'm only telling you this because I never understood why fans go crazy over their team. You know, I'm like, man, it's basketball. What's the big deal? You know. But when I went to a football game and I saw how big and fast and explosive, and I had great seats, I was like, man, this is awesome. Like, I wanted to get season tickets. I had that aha moment where, like, this is the reason they have fanatics, fans that are great. Because, man, football up close and personal is just totally different, when you're watching on TV.
So you're saying Kansas City?
Go Chiefs. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah.
Gary, how long, as a guy who was traded midseason, what's that like, and how long did it take you, or does it take guys to get used to those, get into a new place and get used to those things?
Everybody's circumstances are different, From my personal experience, I was with Portland Trail Blazers. We were in Miami at the time. I got the trade called. I was getting traded to Toronto Raptors, which were in Tampa at the time. So it was just straight from Miami, and then I went to Tampa and was there for about 3 months, 2 months straight. I didn't go back to Portland at all. I had like family and friends help me pack up my stuff and help me ship my stuff to where I needed to go. And, it's just a swirl of emotions, a swirl of new surroundings, new beginnings, new atmosphere, new coaches, new players, So, everybody's different. I wouldn't say it took me too long. I felt like I came over and it was a pretty smooth transition, with the help of the organization and the coaches and my teammates and stuff like that. But, everybody's factors are different.
How different are, like, terminologies, and do they just throw the playbook at you, and how does that all work when you're changing teams?
Yeah, it's crazy. Fundamentally, everybody, does the same thing, whether it's a double away screen. They may call it a 62. They may call it double away. They may call it, it's just different terminology that you got to learn. And, that's why it's the biggest thing, just learning terminology.
How long does that take, or do you take?
And everybody IQ different. So if you feel me, if you can learn quick, a fast learner, sometimes some people take extra long. So, just depending on who you are.
With Jakob, is it a bit weird welcoming a new teammate who already knows this organization so well?
I wouldn't say it's really weird. It's kind of just a more comfortable. He just already got, I guess, certain jokes, with Pascal and, from just being here with him and stuff like that. But, yeah.
Playing with him on the offensive end, I noticed there were almost a couple of times where you guys were coming off his screen, and it was almost like you guys didn't realize how much space you had, and it took a couple of seconds to be like, okay, yeah, I can go up. Is that like a new thing to adjust to now, with how well he's able to set those screens?
For sure, he's just a big body, how he's just playing with him, and when he learns the spacing and he learns the sets, he should be super fine, he should be super straight. He obviously played good yesterday, first game with us, don't overreact with anything, but he should help us a lot. I'm glad he's here.
Defensively, what have you seen in terms of, maybe, with the way you guys play so aggressive, being able to maybe back you guys up?
No, exactly. I haven't seen a flash of that last night. Obviously I had to steal on Olynyk, and I tried to reach again, missed it. And, he was right there at the rim with Taylor. So, again, he can give me that freedom to play hard, play aggressive, try to press up as much as I can because, on the backside, I'll have some help.
There's just news as of this morning that Wieskamp is signed to the Raptors now.
Who?
Joe Wieskamp.
Oh, okay. Hey. I didn't even see that. What time was that at?
Exactly. How are your thoughts and feelings on it?
That's what's up. He comes in, he works hard, he can shoot the basketball. For my time I've been around him so far, he's been a pro. So, he comes in, he works, he does his job, he stays low key. So, bigs up to him. I didn't know he signed it. That's what's up. I'm telling what's up. I didn't know that.
Have you guys had any shooting contests yet?
A shooting contest? Nah, we ain't went that far yet, but he don't want to do that.
What does that dynamic add to the team, though, in terms of value on the court? Because now you got a center, you were already a shooter, and now you have another threat on the outside. What does that create?
This should help us with our floor spacing. We needed that a lot this year with knocking down shots. When P's driving, Scotty's driving, you guys to knock down open shots when they're going in. So, yeah.
Does that kind of change your game in terms of maybe you can get to the rim a little bit more and drive a little bit more to the lane as well? Because once again, it just opens up the floor at spaces.
In a sense, yeah, they're gonna have to respect us three. You know, even when we get OG back, or you know, they're gonna have to respect that as well too. Like you said, we have Yak setting the screens now too, so it should and it can help our spacing. Yeah.
When people talk about spacing so often, it's three-point shooting.
Mhm.
But how does a guy who's a non-shooter like Yak also help with the spacing?
Well, for example, even with Joe, for example, they might have to press up more on his side. So if Yak sets a screen and he rolls, just by default, he's going to be able to have more room to finish around the rim or create or get a pass to go somewhere else because they're going to have to be a couple more inches closer over there to Joe or you know, Freddie or myself, however it may be, and then just open up the floor like that.
What have you been up to?
I went back and played with the Wisconsin Herd for the past couple weeks. Played like 5 games, so
And then what were the, I guess, between the trade deadline and 2 days now, what have the last 24 hours or whatever been like?
just exciting. I felt like I made a good impression during my 10 days and felt like if there was a roster spot available after the trade deadline that it was a possibility that I could come back. So just thankful it all worked out that way and I'm able to be here.
When did that possibility become a certainty? Like, what was that conversation?
It was around noon yesterday. Got the call. Just said that we're going to give you the roster spot for the end of the season, and I was just super excited about it.
Joe, congrats on the deal. What had you feeling good about the impression?
I mean, I feel like I made the most of my opportunities. Obviously, I didn't play too much, but when I was out there, I did my thing. I did what I could do every day in practice. Went and played at the 905, played well there, and I feel like just bringing energy on the bench too. Like those things don't go unnoticed, and so I just tried to do everything I could during my 10 days, and clearly it paid off.
And I noticed like your locker was next to Dad's, and so I was just wondering, have you struck up a bit of a relationship with him? What have you been maybe able to pick his brain about?
Yeah, so I was in San Antonio with Thad last year, so I knew him kind of coming into my first 10 day. But he's just a great vet, just a leader, a guy that's been around the business, knows everything. So he's been great to me, just helping out in any way he can.
I know Gary wasn't aware before, but has anybody congratulated you from the team or any of your teammates say anything yet?
Yeah, they were excited. I feel like just a familiar face. I was just here 2 weeks ago, so it was nice to see all them, just be familiar with the staff. Like I feel like I'm coming into a familiar environment, and the guys have been all great.
What do you feel like you could contribute in terms of spacing on the court with this team?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Just like I said when I was here the first time, is just being able to be a knockdown shooter and space the floor for all these playmakers. And I feel like if given the opportunity, that's what I'll be able to do.
You played with Thad last year, but you also played with Yak.
Yeah.
What can he bring to this team, or what did he bring to you guys last year?
He's just a big presence. Obviously, he's the biggest guy on the team, and just his defensive presence, his rim protecting. He's really good in pick and roll and finishing around the rim. And he's just a high character guy. I love Yak, so I'm excited to be reunited with him.
What stands out to you with the Raptors organization so far, in general?
I just feel like the culture around here, obviously the season hasn't gone as planned, but you can tell it's a team that prides themselves on winning. And you can tell that in the locker room, and just I'm excited to be a part of it. A team that is fairly young, and excited to work with all these guys.
The Raptors have a very demanding style of defense. What do you find is the biggest challenge of being able to execute?
I feel like just being known as a white shooter, people don't view you as a good defender, but I feel like I am a little bit more athletic than people think. I have a long wingspan. Obviously, they preach Eagles and having wide arms on defense. So I feel like just bringing energy, using my length, using the athleticism I have, just to maintain and stay in front of people.